guys, you're welcome to part 3 of coordination and response. And in this section, we are going to be looking at quickly the hormones in humans. So we'll be looking at the hormonal and endocrine system. So hormones in humans. So you need to be able to define a hormone because it's actually a frequent question in Igcse exams. In the last 5 years, we've seen it, where a hormone is simply defined as a chemical substance first, which is produced by a gland, carried by the blood, which alter the activities of one or more specific target organs. That's all. That's the definition of a hormone. You can write this down somewhere and make sure you study it and know the basics. So it's just divided into 4 parts. A hormone is a chemical substance, you get a mark for it. Produced by a gland and carried by the blood, you get another mark for it. Then which alters the activities of one or more specific target organs. It comes out as a 2 or 3 mark questions in the exam. So next, we should be able to identify specific endocrine glands and their secretions limited to adrenal gland and adrenaline, pancreas and insulin, testes and testosterone, and ovaries and oestrogen. So we should also be able to describe adrenaline as the hormone secreted in the fight and flight situation and its effect, limited to breathing and pulse rate and widened pupils. So it cut across both the core and extended aspect. Then we should give examples of situations in which adrenaline secretion increases and compare nervous and hormonal control system. We should state the function of insulin, oestrogen, and testosterone. So quickly, it's quite not that bulky, but let's see how far we could go. Now, the endocrine or hormonal system. The hormonal system is also known as the endocrine system. So a different kind of coordination is brought about the endocrine system. So outside the nervous coordination, we also have the endocrine hormonal coordination. This system depends on chemicals called hormones, which are released from special glands called the endocrine glands. Like now here we have the pituitary gland, it's an endocrine gland. The thyroid gland is an endocrine gland. The pancreas also acts as an endocrine gland, releases both hormones and enzymes. We have the adrenal gland here too, it's an endocrine gland. And the ovaries and testes are all endocrine glands that produce different kinds of hormones for different functions. Now, the hormones circulate around the body. The hormones circulate around the body in the blood and eventually reach certain organs called the target organs. So now, a hormone, we've looked at the definition already and produced, but you should also note that hormones are usually destroyed by the liver. So quickly, let's look at this endocrine system, the type of hormone that they produce, and the role and effect of these individual hormones. So first, the pituitary gland is usually called the master gland and is situated at the base of the brain. Then we have the thyroid gland that produces the hormone called thyroxine. We have the pancreas, which produces insulin. We have adrenal gland, which produces adrenaline. The testes produce testosterone, and the ovaries produce oestrogen. Now note, the pancreas produces hormone to regulate blood glucose level, as well as digestive enzymes such as pancreatic amylase and lipase. Remember, amylase A is a carbohydrate enzyme that aid in the digestion of carbohydrate and starch to maltose. Then lipase help to break down lipids to fatty acid and glycerols. Now, so adrenaline, source adrenal gland. What is the major role? We'll look at it in much detail because your syllabus expects you to explain this adrenaline concept in a detailed form. But quickly, the role is to prepare the body for either a fight, to stand and fight, or flight response, or you should run. To stand or run, to fight, or you run away for defense. So it's majorly for defense though sometimes. Effect, it increases heat, because adrenaline secretion will increase the rate of respiration, which produce high rate of amount of heat. It increases breathing rate because if it increases respiration, because you need more energy for fight and flight, you expect more respiration will take place for more heat. You expect more oxygen will be needed to be transported to muscle cells for respiration, and your pupil will also dilate. We'll see how this process occurs. But for insulin, testosterone, and estrogen, you just need to know this. Insulin produced by the pancreas role, it lowers blood glucose level. So insulin helps to convert glucose to glycogen. We'll see it when we look at homeostasis, glucose to glycogen. Why? And it causes excess glucose in the blood to be taken up by the muscles and liver and converted into glycogen for storage. Then we have the testosterone, which is produced by the testes, is the main sex hormones in male. It helps in the development of secondary sexual characteristics in males. Um, Oestrogen, produced by the ovaries, is the male sex hormones in female. Development of secondary sexual characteristics in females, and it also helps to control the menstrual cycle. So you can pause and take note of all these things. Then next, we said earlier we'll look at the adrenaline in much in-depth detail. So this is a adrenaline or adrenal gland is situated above the kidney, so just above the kidney here is the adrenal gland, and if you bring it out, we have the adrenal medulla, that's the inner section, and the outer section as the adrenal cortex, just the same way you have the kidney cortex and the kidney medulla. Now adrenaline is known as a fight or flight hormone, as it is produced in situations where the body may be in danger. So in situations where the body may be in danger, the body produces adrenaline for either fight or a flight situation. Now it causes a range of different things to happen in the body, all designed to prepare it for movement in fight or flight. Now, when you want to move, I need you to take note of this. If you want to move, for movement, you need energy. For any form of movement, you need energy. So if you need energy, there are different ways. All these process only aid in production of more energy. So if your body need to produce more energy, there need to be increase in blood glucose concentration, which is one of the major function of adrenaline. It increases blood glucose concentration for increase, which help to increase respiration in muscle cells. Two, it increases pulse rate and breathing rate. It increases pulse rate and breathing rate, so glucose and oxygen can be delivered to muscle cells, and carbon dioxide can be taken away from muscle cells more quickly. So it increases pulse rate and breathing rate. Diverting blood flow towards muscles, because the muscles need high amount of glucose and oxygen. So adrenaline will help to divert blood flow away, the blood flow towards the muscles and away from non-essential part of the body, such as the alimentary canal. Again, to ensure reactants of respiration are available as possible. All this is towards high amount of energy. There, your dilating of your pupil. This will allow more light as possible to reach your retina, so more information can be sent to your brain to analyze the situation. Then next on the syllabus, they expect us to know the difference between a nervous and a hormonal system. You see, when I would look at the questions related to this topic, you see it comes out as frequently as possible in most exam past questions. The difference between nervous and endocrine system. The nervous system is made up of nerves, which are your neurons, brain and spinal cord, while endocrine systems are made from glands. Nervous system type of message is in form of electrical impulse, while this is a chemical hormone. Speed of transmission, nervous is very fast, while endocrine is slow. Length of effect, nervous system is short, until the nerve impulses stop is quite short, while endocrine system is longer until hormone is broken down. So this is the major difference between the two, and this brings us to the end of this topic, this part called hormonal system.